Your 20s are so hard because it is the first time in your life where no one is telling you what to do. Just stop and think about this for a second. There's no playbook. And all you've known from 0 to 20 is someone else's playbook. The first 20 years of your life, every detail was planned for you. And it was planned for all your friends too. In fact, you and your friends, and this is a big piece of this, from 0 to 20, you and your friends were moving through life at the exact same pace, in the exact same place.
Welcome to Self Mastery Labs. Let's get started. Chapter 1, the training wheels are off. Let's stop pretending for a second, okay? The training wheels are off. You know, those things that made life feel like it had some structure, some kind of predictable path? Well, that's over. It's like you've been tossed into the wild, handed a machete, and told to figure it out. So how are you handling it? Confused? Terrified? I bet you're looking around, wishing someone would throw you a life jacket. But guess what? No one's coming. You're in the deep end now, and the only way out is through. Does that sound harsh? Well, good. Because here's the thing. The real world doesn't care about your feelings. There's no syllabus for adulting. Your life is no longer a playlist made by someone else. Your parents, teachers, and mentors, they had a map for you, even if it was a shitty one. They told you what to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and that gave you a false sense of security. But now, well, you've got to make your own map, even if you don't have a freaking compass. So, let's get down to it. How many times this week have you wished for a how to adult manual? Be honest. How many times have you looked around and thought, everyone else seems to have their act together, but here I am, struggling to pick a damn toothpaste? Yeah, I get it. You're probably panicking. Your brain's telling you that you should have it all figured out by now. The truth is, no one has it figured out. Not your friends, not your parents, and sure as hell not your ex-classmates who are posting their perfect lives online. Let me break this to you straight. There's no perfect. You've been lied to. You were sold this idea of a neat, easy progression, but in reality, your 20s are a full-on shit show, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. It's messy, and it's okay to be lost, but don't stay lost. Don't get paralyzed by the uncertainty. The only way to make it through this jungle is to keep moving. Yeah, it's uncomfortable, but get used to it. This is the world you live in now, so stop wasting time. You're an adult now. The training wheels are off. No one's coming to save you. But hey, that's actually a good thing. You're free to crash and burn and then pick yourself up and try again. So, what's your next move? Chapter 2. Your friends aren't your synchronized swimming team anymore. Let's talk about the myth of the squad goals, shall we? Remember when it felt like you and your friends were in sync? Like you were all moving in the same direction, following the same steps, sharing the same dreams? Yeah, well, that was a fantasy. Welcome to your 20s, where you realize that your friends aren't your synchronized swimming team anymore. They're all over the place. Some are sprinting ahead, some are crawling at a pace you can't even fathom, and some have no idea what they're doing. And guess what? You're not in control of that. If you've spent any time on social media, and let's be real, who hasn't, you've probably seen your perfectly coordinated group of friends start to diverge. One's got a job at Google, another's living their best life in Bali, and the third one just announced their engagement to someone they met 3 months ago. And then there's you, sitting there wondering, what the hell happened? When did they all get it together, and why am I still stuck trying to figure out my next move? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You're falling behind, and that's not a judgment, it's a reality check. When was the last time you honestly felt like you were moving at the same pace as your peers? When did you last scroll through Instagram and feel like a total failure because someone you went to high school with is already a VP at some startup while you're still figuring out how to pay rent without selling your organs? But here's the thing, just because everyone else seems like they have their life together doesn't mean they do. You think your best friend's career is taking off? Maybe it is. But maybe she's burning out, masking it with fancy vacation pics, that friend who's getting married. Maybe he's terrified, wondering if he's making the right choice, but it looks great on social media. Life doesn't come with an instruction manual, and your friends' lives are just as much of a mess as yours. They're just better at hiding it. The bottom line, stop comparing yourself to everyone else. It's the fastest way to drown in self-doubt. Everyone has their own timeline, And guess what? You don't have to follow theirs. They don't owe you an explanation, and neither do you. So stop judging your progress based on other people's highlight reels. You're not falling behind, you're just on your own damn path. Chapter 3. Decision paralysis is real. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, shall we? The one that's sitting on your chest, suffocating you every time you try to make a decision. Decision paralysis. Welcome to adulthood, where every choice feels like you're picking your fate from a giant menu, but everything costs an arm and a leg. Should you stay in your dead-end job? Should you move to a new city? Should you end your relationship because it's not right anymore? Should you go back to school? Should you start a YouTube channel? Should you get that tattoo you're going to regret in 5 years? Oh, but wait, all these choices come with a price tag that's either emotional, financial, or both. Honestly, what's stopping you from making a decision? You're sitting in front of the biggest decision-making menu of your life, but you're paralyzed because none of it looks good, and every choice feels like it's going to ruin your future. Why can't someone just tell me what to do already? But here's the ugly truth. If you're waiting for the perfect choice to appear, you're going to be waiting forever. Decision-making isn't about finding the perfect answer. It's about taking action, even when you don't have it all figured out. Every successful person you admire has made shitty decisions, and they've learned from them. That's the key. You don't need all the answers, you just need to start moving. So, how many major life decisions have you been avoiding lately? Seriously, how many have you swept under the rug because they scare you? You know what? It's time to pick something and own it. No more, maybe I'll just wait until I feel ready, or I'll make this decision tomorrow. Do it today, because the longer you wait, the more it eats you up inside. You've got to choose, so choose already. The worst decision? Doing nothing at all. Chapter 4. The comparison game is rigged. Let's be honest, social media has you completely fucked. Yeah, I said it. The comparison game is rigged. It's like you're stuck in a never-ending episode of Keeping Up with the Joneses, except instead of the Joneses, it's your high school classmates who now have perfect relationships, ideal jobs, and six-pack abs. And here you are, still figuring out how to make it through a week without crying in the shower. You're bombarded with updates of people living their best life, all while you're struggling to figure out what your best life even looks like. How often do you pull out your phone, scroll through the perfectly curated lives of people who seem to have it all, and think, wow, I'm a total failure? I'm going to call it, you're addicted. You're hooked on the dopamine that comes with seeing everyone else's perfect moments. But guess what? Social media is a lie. It's a curated highlight reel of everyone's best moments. And that's not real life. Everyone's got their struggles, their breakdowns, and their fuck-ups, but they're not showing that. So why are you torturing yourself by comparing your behind the scenes to their highlight reel? Stop falling for it. You've got to snap out of this twisted competition. There's no one size fits all for life. What works for someone else doesn't work for you. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can start living for yourself, instead of living in someone else's shadow. Life isn't a race. You're not in competition with anyone but yourself. So let's stop pretending that their success somehow makes you less of a person. The only thing that's holding you back is your obsession with what everyone else is doing. Ditch the comparison. It's time to live your life your way. Chapter 5. It's time to write your own playbook. Alright, buckle up, because this is where it gets real. You know how everyone's been telling you how to live your life up until now? Yeah, forget that. It's time to rip up the rulebook. It's time to write your own playbook. It's terrifying, right? The idea that you get to make the rules is exhilarating, but it's also a major mindfuck. Who are you to create your own path? Who are you to decide what success looks like? Who are you to reject all the advice and expectations that people have shoved down your throat? You're the one in charge now. It's your life. So what are you going to do with it? Here's the kicker. There's no universal roadmap. Stop pretending there's a perfect path you're supposed to follow. If you keep waiting for the right opportunity to fall into your lap, you're going to be waiting until you're old and grey, wishing you'd taken the leap. Newsflash. Life doesn't wait. If you're waiting for permission, you'll be waiting forever. No one's coming to save you. This is your time, your chance, and your shot to create a life that doesn't look like everyone else's. So what's stopping you? Fear? Fear of failure? Fear of looking like a fool? Fear of not measuring up? Newsflash, failure is part of the game. There's no perfect formula, no magic spell, and no guarantee that it will work. But the worst thing you can do is keep playing it safe, hoping for a sign to start. The sign is this: you get to make the rules. You get to decide how the story ends. You're in the driver's seat now. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the world to tell you it's okay. It's time to start writing your own damn story. And if you fall along the way, great. That's part of the process. You're not failing. You're learning. Now go out there and build the life that you want to live. Alright, listen up. If you made it this far, congrats. You survived my rant on why your 20s are basically a beautiful, messy, insane roller coaster that no one warned you about. And hey, maybe I struck a nerve. Maybe you felt seen, or maybe you're already thinking, yup, I'm ready to ditch everyone else's playbook and write my own. Either way, here's where you come in. So, let's get real one more time. I've spilled my guts here about why you're feeling lost, how decision paralysis is messing with your head, and why comparing yourself to everyone else online is like willingly signing up for a cage fight you'll never win. But I want to hear from you. Let's make this a conversation, not just me shouting into the void. Here's the big question I want you to think about, and drop your answer in the comments because I will be reading and answering them. What would your life look like if you stopped playing by everyone else's rules and finally let yourself write your own story? Seriously, take a second and imagine it. What would change? What risks would you take? What would you let go of? Or maybe, what's that one decision you're still hesitating to make because the world might judge you for it? Go ahead, share it below, and while you're at it, hit that like button if this video hit home for you, subscribe if you're ready to embrace the chaos, and pass this along to a friend who needs a wake-up call. Because let's face it, we're all just trying to figure this out together, one mess at a time. So let's build this community of lost but determined souls. You might be struggling, but trust me, you're not alone.